Listen to me right now, Seahawks faithful. You think winning Super Bowl LX lets you sleep? Absolutely not. The Lombardi Trophy is in the case, but the Sharks are circling in Seattle. We have major coaching changes that could either build a dynasty or tear it apart before it starts. We are stealing from our rivals, losing key minds, and arguably disrespecting our own defensive stars. The 12s need to wake up because the offseason is where championships are truly won. Before we break down this chaos, I need you to smash that subscribe button. We are pushing for 1,000 subscribers, and I need you on this team right now.
The Seattle Seahawks have officially made their move to fill the massive void left by Clint Kubiak. Sources confirm that the organization has hired Brian Fleury as the new offensive coordinator. Fleury is not a stranger to the NFC West. He comes directly from the San Francisco 49ers, where he served as a key offensive assistant. This is a targeted, surgical strike by the Seahawks front office. They looked at the landscape, realized they needed to maintain the sophisticated offensive architecture that won them the Super Bowl, and decided to pluck a mind from their bitterest rival. Fleury has been instrumental in San Francisco, working with tight ends and helping orchestrate one of the league's most complex run game schemes. Now, let's look at what this really means. This is absolute larceny. You don't just hire a coach, you weaken your enemy. The Seattle Seahawks just looked at the 49ers, walked into their house, and took the furniture. This is exactly the kind of aggression that defines a champion. You think Mike McDonald is satisfied with one ring? No, he is reloading. Brian Fleury brings that Shanahan tree discipline, that physical mindset, but he's bringing it to a roster that already knows how to win. Clint Kubiak was fantastic. Yes, he was a genius, but Fleury is hungry. He has been waiting for this shot. Think about the intelligence here. The Seahawks know the 49ers better than anyone. By bringing in Fleury, you are downloading the 49ers playbook directly into your hard drive. You are learning their checks, their adjustments, their secrets. It is a masterclass in organizational warfare. However, the pressure is on. You cannot stumble. You are stepping into the shoes of a coordinator who just hoisted the Lombardi Trophy. The standard in Seattle isn't just good anymore. The standard is perfection. The 12s expect points, they expect explosion, and they expect domination. Fleury has to walk in there on day one and command a room. He cannot be a shadow of the 49ers. He has to be the leader of the Seahawks. Some critics might say he lacks play-calling experience at this high level. They might say it's a risk. To them, I say, look at the pedigree. Look at the system. We have seen time and time again that assistants from this coaching tree thrive when given the keys. The Seahawks have a quarterback who can execute, receivers who can fly, and a running game that punishes people. Fleury doesn't need to reinvent the wheel. He just needs to keep the Ferrari on the track and foot on the gas. This is a statement signing. It tells the rest of the NFL that Seattle is not rebuilding. They are reloading. They are not scared of change. They embrace it. But this isn't the only change happening in the building, and the next piece of news might actually concern you a little bit more than you think.
Listen, if you want the real truth about the Seahawks that the mainstream media is too afraid to tell you, you need to subscribe right now. Don't miss a single update as we march toward another title. Join the family. While we are celebrating the arrival of Fleury, we have to address the elephant in the room. The Seattle Seahawks have lost quarterback coach Andrew Janocko. He is gone. This is not a minor footnote. This is a significant blow to the continuity of the most important position in sports. Janocko was the voice in the ear of our quarterback during the most critical moments of a championship run. When you lose the guy who manages the mechanics, the psyche, and the daily preparation of your franchise signal caller, you are flirting with disaster. Let me be clear, Janocko was vital. But here is the nuance that the casual fan misses. The Seahawks, in their infinite wisdom, managed to build a firewall around the rest of the offensive staff. While Janocko walks out the door, the other key offensive assistants are staying put. This is the definition of damage control. The front office knew there would be poaching. When you win the Super Bowl, everyone wants a piece of your staff. It is the price of success. But keeping the run game coordinator, the offensive line specialists, and the receiver coaches ensures that the language remains the same. The terminology doesn't change just because one man left. However, do not underestimate the relationship between a QB and his coach. That bond is sacred. The new offensive coordinator, Brian Fleury, now has a massive task. He has to find a replacement who can replicate that trust immediately. You cannot bring in a guy who clashes with your starter. The chemistry in that quarterback room is the heartbeat of the franchise. If that rhythm is disrupted, the whole offense stalls. We have seen it happen a dozen times in this league. A team wins, the staff gets gutted, and the quarterback regresses. Seattle is betting that the system is stronger than any individual coach.
They are betting on culture. They are betting that the remaining assistants can bridge the gap. It is a gamble, a calculated one, but a gamble nonetheless. The development of the system is safe, but the personal development of the quarterback is now a question mark. Who steps in? Do they promote from within? Do they bring in a veteran? This decision is just as critical as the coordinator hire. You cannot have a disconnect. The 12s should be watching this vacancy like a hawk. It's not just about X's and O's, it's about trust. The Seattles are walking a tightrope between evolution and stability. They managed to keep the foundation, but they lost a pillar. And while we worry about the offense, there is a situation brewing on the defensive side of the ball that is frankly disrespectful to everything this team stands for.
We need to talk about respect. We need to talk about money. And right now, we need to talk about the absolute disrespect being shown to Julian Love. Reports are surfacing that despite being a cornerstone of a Super Bowl winning defense, despite being the glue that held the secondary together, the market and the media are treating him like an afterthought. This is arguably the most underrated player in the entire National Football League free agency class. How is this possible? You watch the film, you see the range, you see the tackling. This man played out of his mind to help bring a trophy to Seattle. And now, when it is time to get paid, when it is time to get the accolades, it's silence? It is blasphemy. The safety market is always tricky, I get that. But we are talking about a playmaker. We are talking about a guy who cleans up everybody else's mistakes. The Seahawks defense does not work without a safety who can cover ground like he does. The analytics show he is elite, the tape shows he is elite, but the checkbook isn't reflecting it yet. This is a dangerous game for the Seahawks front office. If you let a leader like this walk out the door because you want to pinch pennies, you lose the locker room. Players are watching. They want to see their brothers get taken care of. If Julian Love feels disrespected, he walks. And if he walks, who replaces that production? You think you can just draft a rookie to step into the shoes of a Super Bowl champion safety and run the defense? You are delusional. This is the domino effect. We hired a new OC, we lost a QB coach, and now we are playing chicken with our best defensive asset? It is a recipe for a hangover, a Super Bowl hangover. The Seahawks need to wake up and cut the check. Pay the man what he is worth. The media might not be hyping him up like a superstar quarterback, but the 12s know the truth. They know who made the stops on third down. They know who kept the lid on the coverage. To label him as underrated is an insult. He is essential. The Seahawks have a limited window to fix this before another team realizes what a gem is sitting there. You cannot build a dynasty by letting your foundational pieces leave for nothing. This situation is reaching a boiling point, and the silence from the front office is deafening. We cannot allow this to happen.
This is the reality we face, Seattle. We are at a crossroads. We have a new offensive mastermind in Brian Fleury, but we lost the voice guiding our quarterback. We have a championship defense, but we are on the verge of disrespecting the very safety who makes it work. The decisions made in the next few weeks will define the next 5 years of this franchise. Do we reload and repeat, or do we crumble under the weight of our own ego? I want to hear from you right now. Should the Seahawks pay up for Julian Love, or is the system more important than the player? Drop your comment below. I read every single one. We are building a movement here. Stay tuned, stay angry, and as always, go Hawks.